Welcome back to ciLiving. The Champaign Public Library works to inspire, inform, and connect our Central Illinois community. Here today to share some books to add to your reading list is Nanette. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi.
Welcome back. So what have you brought today?
Okay, well, I've got 3 books today that are about women and music,
Okay.
a topic that is very close and near and dear to my heart. So we'll start with The Unexpected Diva by Tiffany L. Warren. This is a book about Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, who was the first Black opera singer in America. And she was active in the 1850s and 1860s. So she was born enslaved and was raised in Philadelphia by her adopted mother, who was Quaker. And her mother recognized her talent from a young age and wanted her to become a professional singer, which was not a career path that a lot of women pursued in the 1850s, especially not Black women. And so she had this extraordinary voice and a lot of perseverance, and that's what built her career. She dealt with a lot of racism. She dealt with a lot of threats that were really very terrifying, like, you know, leaving a show and a slave catcher might abduct you. Those sorts of terrors that she had to deal with. But eventually she did build a career, and she traveled to the UK and performed for Queen Victoria.
That's
so
amazing.
It's really impressive. And
so is it an or not an autobiography, but it's a biographical
It's biographical fiction.
Okay.
She's a real person who really did all these things and is somebody who should be better known.
Wow, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. And then what about this one?
That's The Jewel of the Blues by Monica Chanel Kilgore, and this is set in the 1920s, and it's about a young woman named Lucille who first gets involved in music through her family's gospel troupe, and she discovers that she has a gift for the blues. She has one of those, you know, sultry, amazing voices that you just can't deny.
Right.
And so she founds her own blues group and starts traveling on the vaudeville circuit. And like Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, even though this is 70 years later, she's still dealing with a lot of the same issues on the road, segregated theaters, you know, not being able to have her friends and family see her perform because Black folks are not allowed into the theater where she is performing.
That's really sad.
So she tours the country and makes a career for herself, but throughout all of this, there is a family secret that's kind of hovering in the background, that if it catches up to her, it could threaten her livelihood.
Interesting.
So that really helps keep the book going. These are both fascinating books. This is not a true story, but it reads like a true story.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like it could be, but instead it's a fictional character.
It is. It's really wonderful.
Story. And then what about the last one?
This is a book that is near and dear to my heart. This is Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley. This is a contemporary story. It begins in the year 2000, and it's about a young woman named Percy who loves music, passionately loves music, loves talking about music, loves critiquing music, loves writing about music, and her friends find this kind of exhausting, and I very much identify with this character. So she is in a bar one evening, and she meets a young singer-songwriter named Joe, and they have an immediate connection, and they spend all night talking about music because that is a passion for both of them.
Right.
And as their friendship grows and deepens, they realize that it is a once-in-a-lifetime connection. However, they can't seem to get their relationship going. There's always something standing in the way. And so this follows them through 20 years of their life as they kind of weave in and out of each other's lives. It includes some of Percy's music writing. She writes about her own story as well as music, and that's something I love because as a music writer, that's what I do too.
Right.
So I feel really strongly, really passionately about this book. It is such a wonderful book about connecting with another person through music and the lifetime friendships and deep abiding feelings that you can develop for people with a shared interest.
Yeah, that's amazing, and you can tell that you really connect with it the way that you're selling it.
I
really
love this book.
And I want to know if there won't they will come to fruition.
I would say it's a love story, but it's not a romance.
There you go. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us, and hang out for a minute because right after the break, Nanette is going to share some information and events that are coming up at the Champaign Public Library. ciLiving will return right after this.